international SEO is still quite novel to my surprise. Client that I work with, they started off with 67 separate websites with identical content in different languages targeting all these countries. They weren't making much money apart from the UK and the US market. And they had 67 domains they were paying for. And we consolidated all of them, gave them a strong international SEO strategy, and brought them from £500,000 to now £3 million. So, the proof is in the pudding, and it just keeps going, the growth. So we have this client pool that are like, oh, interesting, I want to try this. And we take them from 0 to 100. But obviously that growth slows down when the strategy is already there, but it continues to improve every single month. So it works, the concept is proven.
I'm John Wright, and you're listening to Affiliate BI, the business intelligence and affiliate marketing podcast brought to you by StatsJohn. Welcome to the Affiliate BI podcast. Today we're chatting with Kira Khoroshilova. She is the founder of Diary of an SEO, which I think would be a perfect name for a new affiliate podcast. The only thing I really know about Kira is that she's an SEO. She recently spoke at the SEO Mastery Summit and was highly recommended by Mad Singers. So Kira, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much, John. And it's so nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet. So first question right off the bat is, what did I miss for your talk on the SEO Mastery Summit? I just saw a picture with you and a whole bunch of stuff with it was different keywords and stuff. So what did I miss?
Wow, what didn't you miss? A lot of good stuff. I took a different angle. So I was talking about hreflang, which is the international SEO implementation, and just talked about how you can easily implement it and where it can actually get you, with a major focus on culture. So all SEOs know about hreflang and the technical aspects of it all. You can read that pretty much anywhere. But what people forget about is the cultural sensitivity. So I really stress that to people, that if they're going to have an international strategy of any sort, even if you're targeting, 5 countries, you need to make sure that you're focusing on the type of people you're trying to sell to, not just the code that you're implementing. So I think that's the biggest knowledge nugget that I shared that I would like people to know.
Okay. I know I've struggled with this in the past of trying to do an affiliate site that had multiple languages and going, okay, how do we do this hreflang stuff? And I had a friend where he worked with an SEO agency and they just totally butchered a site. They did, what was it? Google Translate content into so many different languages.
Yeah.
And you're going to cry at what they did to this guy's site. So they basically made all the different languages, but then they also built a country for each language.
Oh.
So this matrix went to like 2000. Google clearly wasn't happy with the new version of it, and they just destroyed it. Are you finding stuff like this all the time when people, they do it the wrong way first, and then they come to you and they're like, please help?
Yeah, 100%. So actually one of the questions I got after my talk was, well, is it really that bad if I use Google Translate? Well, yes, it's really bad. I mean, even when I was in Vietnam and I needed to translate something, you type a sentence, show it to them, and they're like, I have no idea what that means. So that just shows that you need to invest in translators, or you have to use AI, because ChatGPT is far better at translating than Google. But you really have to focus on that aspect as well. Because if I'm a foreign language speaker looking at your, say, affiliate website, and I'm reading a bunch of random stuff, realistically, nothing is going to come out of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And let's jump into the culture part, because I think I've got an understanding that just because you translate a site into a different language targeting a certain market doesn't mean that market has that appetite for it. Like I was listening to someone yesterday, they were talking about how different people consume content and what are their like watch, listening, reading habits. And I was surprised at how different it is. So this is probably something that's clearly in your expertise.
Yes, very important. And I will use one of the examples that I used at the SEO Mastery Summit as well. It was you selling either a similar product. We'll split the question into two. The first one you asked is there an appetite for it? You always need to do your keyword research to make sure that you're not just wasting your time just because you feel like you want to target Spain. Do you really need to? And do you need to put your time into it? So that's where the research comes in. And the second aspect is the way you portray the same service to those people. So a big example was Brazil versus India, two very culturally different places. And you are trying to sell corporate negotiation training to them. So Brazilians, they are a lot more flexible on time. They value their happiness, their peace. They like to find a middle ground when they're negotiating on a corporate level. In India, the culture is very different. So there's a lot of hierarchy, a lot of tradition, time is money. So if you're trying to sell this course, it has to be a very different way of selling to both these countries. If you deliver it to a Brazilian audience, but selling with an Indian cultural mindset, they're not going to understand and they're not going to convert.
So would you say that some of your clients are SaaS companies? And I'm kind of asking it from my personal point of view of like going, okay, we just have currently an English site, but we did have intentions to go, okay, we want to roll different languages. I've got some experience living in different countries, but I've not lived in Brazil or India. And I know when you go to these other markets, life is just very different.
Exactly. Yes. So I do have a few SaaS clients. They also target multiple different countries. So one of them is a call center outsourcing software, and they target over a dozen countries. And every target page, so obviously you don't have to translate every single thing to the extent that you would the target service page. We really have to sit down and look at this landing page, study the culture and the targeting and the keywords and the pain points of those demographics. And we end up having pages that sell the same thing, but down to the layout, down to the text, it's polar opposites.
Makes sense. So we're already talking and jumping ahead into different concepts. So one of my questions was, would you describe yourself as more of a technical SEO or a cultural SEO, or I guess it depends on the situation?
I think I'm a strange paradox of an SEO, to be honest. Because of my background, so just to give a little bit of context, I lived in 10 different countries so far. I'm 26. I was born in Moscow, moved around a lot, grew up in Singapore, and now I live in the UK. So just the mindset that I have is, I think, very different. And I think that carries me through the creative part and the cultural part because I understand things that many other people don't in terms of culture. But the technical aspect, that's the nurture. So when I started learning SEO, I dived very deep into it. I enjoy them both equally, but one of them just is almost ingrained. So the cultural aspect, I don't need to learn it. I understand it already. But the technical bit, that's really difficult and I have to try and I get annoyed. But it's more or less the same.
But I mean, the hreflang is a perfect example. I mean, this is probably it seems like it's very important, but yeah, whenever I try to do research and go, okay, what should we do? It's analysis paralysis because I actually think like a lot of the SEO thought leaders, they don't really touch on this.
No, because everyone is really reluctant because it's the bane of everyone's existence. Every SEO who tries to do hreflang, people hate it because the theory is so simple. You just add a bit of code, you use it for every page, and then when you actually start doing it, it goes wrong. 100% of the time, something goes wrong, even with all the amazing tools that have been created to check and generate the code. Things still go wrong, so it really tests your patience, and there is no cookie cutter technique either. So I think SEOs are reluctant to say, oh, do this, do that, because it does differ on what you're trying to achieve as well. There's 4 different types of implementation, and a lot of the time, we don't always know exactly what you need.
It makes sense. I mean, I'm looking at examples because I came from mainly in the iGaming industry. So I'm looking at which companies are doing it which way. And it kind of like there's no real consensus and it's hard to know, well, who's actually really benefited from how they set it all up. So when you look at it, it just seems to be a lot of the same. It's like it's the same concept, it's just a different language. Some people they've told me they've done a brutal Google Translate and it's worked and they've made money. So maybe today that won't work as much anymore because, like you said, translating something in Vietnam, you're going to be, yeah, I have no idea what this is. But I think we're at the age where, um, like every language, every culture, they kind of expect a certain level to talk to them. And if you can't speak to them on their level, they're just like, they'll leave you for someone that will be the first to do it. And as soon as you're the first, you're all those other companies, they're gone.
Exactly. And I think that's a really good point that someone said, well, I use Google Translate and it worked. And that was great, honestly. But the standard is rising. So even I'm sure you've been on a website that's been translated and you can tell, and it's not the best to use, but it's all you have available. So you have to make it work. And now the standard is rising because people like us are going in and updating things and making it easier for people to use. So it will be harder to make money off of a subpar job. It is what I envision.
And I know a lot of friends that they've made really good money focusing on different languages outside of English. Because I mean, let's face it, English has been for the longest time, like, probably too much of the language of business. But it goes without saying, I'm just kind of wondering and thinking out loud, maybe for SEOs, like if you want to get, become like a thought leader in a different market, it's like that could be a gateway where if people are ignoring Spanish and not like there's a massive demand for people that want to learn SEO, but learn it in Spanish, for example.
Mhm. Exactly. And that's a great point. I think the standard is improving and people are starting to realize that and talking about it a lot more and understanding where they need to put their time. So the opposite of that is there search volume for whatever you're looking for in that language. So we've got the trailblazers that start and just make it a gateway for everyone else. And we've got the people that follow the search volume. And I think we need a mix of these people to make international search a better place.
Yeah. I'm going to ask a question I think I know the answer to, but would you say that by going out of your way to be culturally respectful in producing content for your target audience, this is really a super strong extension of branding?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I mean, the reality is that there are hundreds of international SEOs and they all work in a similar space. But we need to, I mean, not we, everyone needs to focus on the intangible aspects of it as well and use personality as an extension of your business. Because I know that there are other international SEOs that are just as good and sometimes better on the technical front, but do they have the cultural experience and can they bring that into someone's project and make a company a lot of money? The pool is less. I'm sure there's someone else like this, but it would be a lot less people. So short answer is 100%.
Okay. That makes me think as well, like just keep digging into the language part. Obviously there's these new tools that do like video translation where I can speak and say something and then I can now have it translated and make it look real, like it's in Japanese,
Mhm.
Korean. What's your thoughts on using these tools? Is this like a good starting point for at least saying, hey, if you want to go into these markets, I think video is my personal opinion. It's the new content.
Honestly, I think this is a little bit of an unpopular opinion because people are a bit iffy about the AI videos and translating. But if it's done well, I'm all for it. I love globalization, and this is bridging the gap and making information accessible everyone around the world. So if you add the human element into the AI and just, proofread or check everything that's coming out, and it helps people in different places in the world understand each other, then why not? I think it's quite beautiful.
Mm. What kind of success stories or how much growth are you seeing from some of your clients where you're helping them go from English to becoming a more global company? Like, is this a profound growth or is it kind of situational depending on who they are or what their product is?
At the moment, because international SEO is still quite novel to my surprise, the growth from having nothing. So I'll give a real life example. Client that I work with, they started off with 67 separate websites with identical content in different languages, targeting all these countries. And of course, they weren't going anywhere with it. They weren't making much money apart from the UK and the US market. And they had 67 domains they were paying for. And we consolidated all of them, gave them a strong international SEO strategy, and brought them from £500,000 to now £3 million. So, the proof is in the pudding, and it just keeps going, the growth. So we have this client pool that are like, oh, interesting, I want to try this. And we take them from 0 to 100. But obviously that growth slows down when the strategy is already there, but it continues to improve every single month. So it works, the concept is proven.
So you would say that it's better to have like things on either subdomain or subfolder than multiple domains targeting different markets.
Oh, 100%. I mean, in the situation of my client, it was probably, it couldn't get any worse than it was. It was identical content. So it was English content with the country domain. So they thought that if we just buy another one, that would be a good idea. So there was no research done. Sometimes, for example, Morocco and Canada, the search is predominantly in English, even in French-speaking areas or Arabic-speaking areas. But none of that research was done in advance. So they thought, well, we'll translate to every language, we'll do this, get all the domains, but it doesn't work. You have to do your homework before you do this stuff.
Yeah, you definitely know a few things because I'm from Toronto, but I now live in Montreal, and
Yeah.
Quebecers do not want to hear this, but there is enough English here. And what the percentage for people doing search, I don't know. Like on the streets, it is mainly French, but
Yeah.
I think people, they've just been used to doing English search for a long time. Like imagine if you're born in Quebec and you want to learn SEO, it's you're going to be disappointed when you search for, that knowledge base of learning SEO in French and going, there's not much here, but it's all in English. So, it just becomes kind of like a habit that maybe it will take a generation to change.
Exactly. It is, I mean, McGill University. So that's the university I went to. And they've got good hreflang, which makes me very happy. So they target the French speakers as well, but the search is predominantly in English. So they put all their work into the English website, but they give all the French speakers the pleasure of reading the same content in French. So it doesn't take much, just a little bit of effort and a little bit of research to do it.
Yeah. And we won't get into the politics where, things like the English universities in Quebec are seemingly under attack, but good to know that they've done the language stuff properly. Because I mean,
Exactly.
McGill's, I mean, they got to sell themselves to the rest of Canada, the rest of the world, even French speaking countries around the world. So that's McGill's job.
Exactly. Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. So I noticed on one of your, I think it's Instagram profiles, you wrote enterprise and luxury, which I'm assuming is your client base rather than your actual business, but it could be that too. So
Yeah.
just to dive deeper into like what's that space and the clients?
Yeah, good question. So I try to work with the premium, so larger companies, with a lot of staff, a lot of international reach, or luxury products or services that they offer. So that is purely the market that I prefer to work in and where I feel I can add the most value. So usually the larger the company, the broader their international reach. So that was the initial thought behind it all. And luxury is so we work with yacht companies, charters, luxury automotive, and that is just something I fell into really. I didn't really sit down and decide that today I will do luxury. I kind of attracted that clientele, and I was always told to niche down, and that is just the niche that I love. So here we are.
That's always great advice. I mean, I've
Mm.
tried to niche down as much as I have, but we're kind of doing the opposite in one sense of going, okay, we want to cover affiliate marketing, and that's not really small niche. But I think it's interesting because what you're doing, and I got a really challenging question. You're, in my opinion, capturing the demand that exists in other markets that those companies need to kind of sort of meet them in the middle and create the
Mhm.
content for. In my situation, my software, my customers are problem aware, but not solution aware. So we know that the problem exists globally. It doesn't really matter the language markets. How
Mhm.
would you say that I go about trying to build out a strategy to create that demand?
That's really interesting. So I get this a lot, actually. People say, "Well, how do I get people to see this, even if they don't think it's a problem, or
Right.
even they're not at that stage yet?" We've all heard about going after no search volume terms and
Yeah.
questions. I think I'm not going to get too much into that. I've got a strange take on it, but I think that taking a question that already exists in some sort of high search that loosely correlates into what you want to explain and drip feeding people that information with multiple blog posts or pages or informative content of any sort and kind of putting them through that funnel. So with SEO, you kind of capture the demand, like you said. But with your question, you have to create it as well. You have to put the thought into people's head that they don't actually have at the moment. And that's a really tough position to be in, but not to say it can't be done. So what I do, this is another real life example. If we've got quite a tricky client that we work with where the service is so bizarre that people wouldn't even think about it. We find things that have high search or respectable search in within the same topical space and then drip feed that information to them, put the question in their head, and then we see search volume increase for those terms because they think, "Oh wow, that's cool. Never thought about that." And that's how we create demand. And that's worked well. If you do it correctly, that works really well. So we can create search with
Right.
the tick as well.
Okay. So maybe in my situation, like one of our go-to-market strategies, and of course, I have some competition that's listening in. So we're like the QuickBooks for affiliates. We help them pull their data and their stats in from the affiliate programs, and we do have reviews of affiliate programs, and we're now starting to create the categories. So we
Mhm.
know that there's a fair amount of search volume in these single reviews, the
Mhm.
categories, and then
Mhm.
of course there's the whole spectrum of top of funnel all the way down to bottom of funnel
Mhm.
content. And yeah, it's we're doing a whole bunch of everything. We're saying, how do we make sure that we're seen in the space in affiliate marketing in every context, including
Mhm.
this podcast? And we're doing the branding to let them hear about the company, but we're trying to be like, oh, I never heard about this before. I didn't know you existed. And they don't even know our competition exists. Like
Mhm.
my market research shows that maybe 1 to 2% of affiliate marketers globally will use a tool to track their stats and commissions. They're either
Mhm.
not tracking it at all, or they're manually tracking it in Google, or the big companies, they actually build their own version of it and they didn't even realize we were even on the market.
Exactly. And it's a great place to be in a way because your possibilities are endless. And when people find you, it's revolutionary. We have clients like this too. A recent one that joined us. I didn't even think that kind of service exists, but it was exactly what I was looking for. So to be in that space is great, and you obviously know where you're headed with it, but just answer all of those questions. So what I like to go back into is what we learned at school, the 5 W's and 1 A. And that is no matter how many hours we spend, that is one of the cornerstones is have we answered every single question, every W and every H. And once we know we did that, we dig deeper into it. And then you start seeing results already because you've answered every question there is.
Yeah. And that seems to go full circle to topical authority. And for us, like our topical authority and our bottom of funnel content is we want to go as deep as possible. So with
Mhm.
all of our competitors in the affiliate program review space, we're trying to take it like super deep. Like how
Right.
often is the data fed back to you? Is it 24 hours by the
Mhm.
hour or real time? Do they have server to server tracking tech like Postback? And we found that there's actually affiliates looking for this. And funny enough, as soon as we started to publish some of this content, we actually attracted some of the people they were just simply looking for the APIs. Like, oh, I just want the API of this affiliate program. And then they saw we existed. And I'm like, how did you hear about us? And they're like, well, I searched for this. I'm like, yes, this is how I know sometimes we're winning, but I get the feeling there's still more we can do.
100%. And I think with scenarios like this, Reddit is a really good idea because Reddit has all the niche questions that you wouldn't think anyone would even think about. But then you Google something and someone answered 7 years ago with exactly what you need. So that's another tactic that we employ for scenarios like this if we really want to educate people, because people are searching for really vague questions. So APIs, and you can answer them and you can actually give them the link within your Reddit answer. And that gives you quite a big upsurge in traffic.
Yeah, I'm trying to be mindful to make sure that I don't get a shadow ban for doing that too often. So I
Yeah.
actually did that, I think a few days ago, where someone was asking for like a list of like, I think it was a gambling affiliate program. I'm like, perfect. So rather than just throwing the link on there, what I did was I went deep and I explained the whole spectrum. I said, here's your gray market stuff, which is cryptocurrency. Here's
Mhm.
the real regulated, and here's the technically regulated, but they're kind of operating under the guise of legal loopholes, which is sweepstakes casinos.
Mhm.
So I gave them the whole spectrum. I'm pretty sure I answered in a way that no one would have expected. Like, whoa, this is pretty deep. I mean, that's my experience. And then, of course, I said, here's a master list of 1,300 casino affiliate programs. And, I thought that was suitable. And I don't think I got banned for that. So
That is
I'm like scared. I'm like checking my Reddit account. I feel like I want to go on to the subreddit where it's like, am I shadow banned? Like, that's so beyond answering those questions in Reddit and Quora and maybe even doing the content on LinkedIn, is there any other tip you'd have for Reddit?
don't get banned. That's the first one. We use Reddit a lot for many different things. We've luckily never gone banned as well, but now that you've said it, I feel like I've manifested it. I think creating questions and answering those questions, but like you say, in a way that's actually helpful. So what people forget is that we're not just here promoting stuff. We actually want to help people. And at the end, that's the highest quality lead that you will get, the one that you've really helped the honest way. Um, I think it doesn't go much beyond that, but what we do is we create accounts and we provide genuine value to people. But again, because I'm an international SEO, we provide this value across the globe in different locations and in different languages so that we can make everything accessible to people. So Reddit is user generated content, and that's its own type of hreflang. So we always try to not forget it, because there are people that are not English speakers that also want to know what's going on. So every time we have any sort of question, it's always translated into every other language. And we don't do that with Google Translate. We do it with a local in that country, plus any chat GPT involvement for proofreading.
That's an interesting point to use ChatGPT, because I've heard ChatGPT, you can kind of say, what would the context be in this market or this language? And I'm hearing some SEOs making proper use of that.
Mhm. It it's I always say this, ChatGPT is great if you know how to use it. So when I do any talk with beginners and they ask, "Oh, can I use ChatGPT?" I just say, "Don't use it," because for me to tell you how to use it, that will probably take a week.
Right.
And if you use it wrong, that's quite deadly. But if you use it right, it's the best thing in the world. So it's at the moment, it's a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah. I think everyone needs a course on that. And I think everyone, when they show how they use ChatGPT, especially even for producing content and going, why is this not working on my affiliate site? It's like, well, let's start from the beginning.
Exactly. I don't know if you've seen this, but people type in, "Oh, imagine I'm an SEO expert. Write me this prompt." That is crazy. That's so crazy.
If only it would work.
Exactly. Exactly.
So going back to, I've got two things here.
Mhm.
Would you say like answering questions, like, of course it can be done on Reddit, but
Mhm.
maybe you should also focus on doing this internally and saying, Well, you've got your own YouTube channel. Answer the questions there, and also do it in the form of blog content. Because I'm assuming all these things will end up on SERPs, and if you can get more than one ability or more than one channel, ranking, it's they all add up.
Oh, 100%. I think if anything, YouTube, so video search is booming. So we always, any question that we answer, we always use video content as well, whether it's just on YouTube or it's embedded onto our website as well. So we really stretch our blog titles to the max. So we create a blog title that goes onto our social media, um, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, if need be, create a video out of it, create a blog piece, um, use it, break it down into Reddit questions as well, and just make the absolute best of it. The thing that I hate to see is that people create a blog piece, publish it, and never do anything with it again. But you're sitting on a gold mine, especially for video. And if it's the other way around, then you transcribe the YouTube video onto your content, break it down into socials as well.
Yeah,
But go ahead, sorry.
just saying, it makes sense it's really distribution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I forget where I heard this recently, but it's like, I think Eli Schwartz was saying, this is a book I recommend. And I'm sure I've got it somewhere back here, but I've got a book on distribution. It's actually on my Kindle. I forget who the author is, but they're basically saying this is how the person was able to make it work. Like they did like a blog content piece and they thought it was amazing and it fell flat. And then they're like, okay, I need to hustle my way to put it into either smaller pieces or different channels. And then eventually they started figuring out where it was like, yes, there's better ways of like presenting your content. But then the other part of it is kind of going, like you said, if you're sitting on an actual gold mine of amazing content, how else can you distribute it?
Exactly. And another thing is that people, they can take the blog, they can make, say, a 30-minute video on it, but you forget about your H2s and your H3s. You can make YouTube shorts with your H2s and H3s. You can make 5-6 different videos. So really, you can do so much just with one piece of content. And nobody seems to do that. I mean, more now, but still people don't make the best of really great stuff that they can use.
That makes sense. And I'm going to throw a real life example in my situation where I'm producing these affiliate program categories like SEO affiliate programs, SaaS affiliate programs, and I'm trying to be topical authority. So even though I'm writing the similar stuff over and over again, I'm explaining it from the beginner's point of view, the advanced person's point of view, how affiliate marketing works with the tracking links, what to expect from this specific niche, the events, the conferences within that niche. Would you say that this is a good idea or a bad idea, or maybe just kind of say, I'll be neutral with the answering, maybe producing not just the videos, but maybe a book on something like this?
I think that's a great idea. And actually, now that you say book, I want to bring in Jason Hennessy, who I'm sure you already know. He was a speaker at the SEO Mastery Summit as well. And he did an absolute genius thing. He was trying to become the authority in law firm SEO.
Okay.
Wrote a book called Law Firm SEO. And every time someone would type in law firm SEO, he would have the full
Knowledge panel.
the whole thing. And it's, I thought it was probably the best thing I've heard in my life. So yes, that is a great idea. And it's kind of like less is more, but it seems simple because Jason's now said it. And I'm like, oh yeah, wow, that was so obvious. But nobody seems to do it. So you cover the whole knowledge panel, then you have the book reviews, and then you have, 3 pages, and it's all to do with your business.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that it's also high converting audience. So even if you had, let's say, hypothetically, 2 book sales per month, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's still someone taking the time to buy it. I mean, the buyer intent is right there in front of you.
Exactly. So all you have to do, again, it goes the same way as the content. You're sitting on a gold mine. It's just how you utilize it and how much you think outside the box.
So now if I'm going to go ahead with it, I got to decide what would the book title be? The dark one.
Something with very high search volume, very broad.
Well, it could either be the broadest like affiliate marketing, but I know there's a lot of people that have done affiliate marketing book, which to me, I
Right.
think it's maybe a little too high level, top of
Mhm.
funnel. I'm thinking maybe something affiliate programs, which does have a lot of volume, but someone
Mhm.
that's looking for affiliate programs, that's they've got an intent in mind because they're like, I want a database, I want a list, I want the high paying affiliate programs, I want the exclusive offers and all the niches you could imagine. I think maybe they would want that.
Exactly. I'll be the first buyer of this book when it comes.
Awesome. Pre-sold book sales. Okay, so yeah, this is a great insights. So I know you said before that you're not in the affiliate space, but I know that because you're an SEO, you come across SEOs, like you come across affiliate sites all the time. With all the stuff that we're hearing in the background of the absolute carnage in the affiliate space specifically, if you had to build an affiliate site or fix one, what's your strategy?
Oh, good question. I mean, I will be honest. I don't dabble in the affiliate space as much as I probably should. So now I feel crazy FOMO when everyone's talking about it. Um, I I will say I don't know for sure, but I would imagine how it would work. To fix an affiliate site, it would be quite simple things. It wouldn't even get down to like the international SEO aspects. That's too far for that kind of site. I think a lot of it, what I've noticed is linking issues. I don't know why that would be an issue because you would assume that they would know how to link everything properly. But every affiliate site that I've seen, obviously Google likes topical authority of some sort, but every affiliate site that I've seen is just a big mess of things, just like fruit salad.
Uh,
And Google, I mean, the amount of affiliate sites that have been de-indexed because people are not careful, the amount of random things, the amount of spam and hacking on those websites. Um, I would one piece of advice for people who are working on it would be just to, to sit down and analyze the website because people use it as kind of like a dumping ground, at least from what I've seen. And it shouldn't really be that way. You can have a very beautiful and well structured affiliate website that doesn't get penalized if you just spend some time doing your research based on search volume, on linking, on site architecture, and just have at least some sort of niche or broad industry instead of doing 500 different things at once. I understand why they would do it, but obviously you shouldn't really do that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that's probably the smartest answer. I'm not saying it's a safe answer, but I do believe that topical authority for affiliates is something that's overlooked because it's worked for so long. Last 10 years, you never needed to be topical authority, but anyone that's done that and planted the seed, like in the last year or even well before, I mean, they're kind of benefiting from it, but they're benefiting from it in the sense that they're not getting destroyed.
Exactly, and it's not actually that difficult. I know someone who has 20 domains, 20 affiliate websites, and they focus on one broad industry. So it's not you can do lots of different things, but they've never gone penalized. They're making frankly a lot of money, but they've segregated so well that they've never had an issue, and they've been going for a long time as well. Before affiliate marketing was cool, they were already doing it. So it's not rocket science, but I know people get a bit excited and they're like, well, I'm going to do everything. I mean, I'd do the same, to be honest, if I started.
Yeah. And one thing that I've personally noticed because I'm in the affiliate space and when I connect with SEOs, I'm always going, do you have affiliate sites? And seems like a lot of them are. And I think what might be happening in the background is it's two things. Either SEO consultants, they work with affiliates as clients and they're like, well, if I'm giving you this advice and you're not doing anything with it, I mean, I see how much money is being made. Um, Another angle of looking at it is kind of going, well, you would want to hire someone that has experience. Imagine like, trying to hire your experience, but someone that doesn't have your experience.
Mhm.
And not just like the href slang, but like, the cultural aspect. I mean, that's why people go to you for the niche. So I'm just wondering, it's like maybe that's one of your next playbooks is dabble in affiliate marketing where I just think the skills kind of make you a better SEO and vice versa.
Exactly. I did. This is very good timing because I have been thinking about it and I feel like I'm so late to the party. but I want to try because there's a lot of hype around it. I've not really focused on it that much, but why not try and see what happens?
Yeah. One thing that I've seen from some SEOs do is, talking to people like James Dooley, Jason
Mhm.
Barnard, and it's kind of like when they all have their own branded names as domains, and then they start throwing on blog content, and then that blog content becomes a natural evolution for some of their affiliate content. I mean,
Mhm.
James Dooley has been doing that for a long time, and it does well, it ranks well, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, again, why not? I don't have a branded website yet with my own name. It's just the agency name. But I also think that people tend to fall into whatever is cool or popular at the time. So we all want to try it, but is it actually going to be valuable? So for people like James and Jason and many others as well, it works a dream for them. Maybe they have a genuine interest. Maybe they started and it just works really well. But I need to see. I'm just theorizing at the moment. I don't know if that will be something that interests me as well, because my interest is so far from that.
Yeah.
But I guess there's no harm in trying.
I know Jason will be disappointed if you don't do the branded domain. So he's the knowledge panel guy, and I recorded him a couple weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I now need to do my own John Wright or equivalent. Someone already owns johnwright.com. It's a common as hell name. So that one's going to be a tough hill to climb.
You should call it the realjohnwright.com.
That's a good one. That's real. That's branding.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Jason's talk was really good. So I started thinking about it and I was like, where's my brand? He was talking about his red t-shirt and he was like, everyone knows me by this red t-shirt. What do
Yeah.
people know you by? I was like, shit, nobody knows me by anything. So
Yeah. I don't do a ton of branding visually on this podcast, but our company colors, they're purple. So we have purple t-shirts, purple hats. We're easy to find at conferences. We even have
Mhm.
purple shoes, and we've got the purple wristband on the watch. So
Well,
we
that's
we yeah, we do that. And now it's like yeah, because everyone doesn't use that color purple. It's like, yeah, you look for a red in a conference, you know that's Jason. I know other people have used different colors, so we've done that, and it's worked really well. Mostly because it's like when I'm trying to find someone, I can't always find that person, but they can always find us.
exactly. Yeah, and that's a dream, isn't it? That was unintentionally our brand name, so Diary of an SEO. Um, I didn't think this through, but people have said, "Wow, that is brilliant branding," because people associate you with Stephen Bartlett. They get the letter wrong, and they're like, "That's amazing." And I didn't even think about that, but it it does work, and just waiting to get big enough until he notices and thinks, "Hey, change it."
Or you could just be like, hey, can I record him for a video podcast episode and talk about social media? And, maybe he might be like, all right, I have to do it because of, what
Yeah,
you've got for that
exactly.
name.
Wow, that would be a crazy title. Diary of an SEO and Diary of a CEO.
Yeah.
That
But you'll have to use social media to grab his attention. That's the
e
only way he'll say yes.
exactly, yes. I hope he watches this.
We'll work on it. All right. So last question. I know you like you said, you're not really much in affiliate marketing, but I
Mhm.
know you're able to look at the affiliate space. So what do you see as the future of affiliate marketing as it intersects with business intelligence?
Well, I mean, we'll have to see what happens. There's a lot of new stuff coming out at the moment. I mean, a year ago or 2 years ago, we couldn't even imagine ChatGPT being a thing, and now it's an everyday tool. I think there are a lot of amazing BI tools in the pipeline at the moment, and I think affiliate marketing will become more prominent, but in a different way. And this coincides with SGE and when it starts rolling into the UK as well. I don't know. This is a boring answer. I'll say I don't know exactly how it will look, but I think it will be incredibly different, and it will allow new people to join the space that will have to adapt and obviously be flexible with the way they're doing things. But it would also be great for analysis. So at the moment, we have a lot of data and statistics on affiliate results and SEO and everything else. But I think it will become a lot clearer and a lot better. So people will start making a lot more money from it, is my prediction.
I,
Um,
I would agree, because it's what I know from being in my position is I'm seeing a lot of interesting companies and people make
yeah.
tools that I've never seen on the market before, and they are starting to launch, or they will launch. And I think what will happen is we're going to have even more data than what we've realized. And what does that data do? It's stories, it's link building, it's digital PR, it's ability to create different insights, it's creating demand, it's capturing the demand. I think you're right. It's to say that you know exactly what's going to happen in the next year. 2 years ago, people wouldn't predict we'd be in this space today with not just Google dumping affiliate sites upside down, but, ChatGPT and AI doing something different, making people work differently.
Exactly. And this goes back to the globalized aspect and international SEO. The more people like me and other international specialists spread awareness and make it easier for people to connect, that's another gateway for affiliate marketing to take off, because it is obviously more prominent in the Western world, but there's no reason why we can't take it further. So I'm really excited about it, about all the data, about the tools, about how people's brains work at the moment. It kind of just brings the whole world together. And that's my whole thing, is to just connect people through search.
That's awesome. And it's really cool seeing your personal experience of living in different cultures and really absorbing and understanding it. Without a doubt, that's a superpower and pretty cool as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah. So, Kira, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I want to pass it back to you to share how people can get a hold of you. And we will also include those links in the show notes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me again, John. It's been absolutely lovely. If anyone wants to get in touch, you can do so on Instagram or LinkedIn or my email. I am friendly on all three of them, so that's completely up to you. And that is Diary of an SEO on Instagram and Kira Khoroshilova on LinkedIn. And my email is kira@diaryofanseo.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the Affiliate BI podcast. I'd like to take this time to ask for a small favor to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us expand our reach to rank higher in podcast directories and reach more listeners.